All right. So, did everybody either you attended or you got a chance to watch the video from the last one? Anybody missed that? Everybody got that? Cool. Any questions on that? Did anybody have a chance to kind of go back and were you able to get that time in of kind of knowing your surroundings, getting a chance to take a break for yourself, 30 seconds, nice and easy? Anybody, any experiences? No, Kirsten, want to do that? You got to get
No,
on it. Yeah.
no.
So I know it seems
Austin
like go ahead.
we watched it over the weekend because we weren't able to go last Tuesday. And so
Mhm.
I've been trying to do a daily walk every day around lunch. And so on Sunday, is today Tuesday?
It's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
Mhm.
So Sunday, I was really cognizant of whenever I was walking just to try to like match my surroundings and just be more conscious of it. And I was also listening to Brene Brown. I don't know if y'all know her, but she actually talked a little bit about that in her podcast. So it was really cool to kind of integrate the two. But thanks for the great feedback on that. It helped a ton.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it or haven't a chance to, I highly recommend it. Start, just taking that time to remember that you're in a real world with real things in it, and know your surroundings on there. If you have a chance to watch the video, go back and watch it. But make sure you keep practicing that. For this week, our lesson is going to be on the why of your mindset. I think this is the next thing. Is number one, you kind of need to understand, yourself and be able to take some self-reflection. But the why is a huge thing. We talked about it a little bit in the last class when people were having, motivation issues, or, I'm trying to, I'm having a hard time with the workouts or being away. And so I thought it would be good this week to dive right into that why part of it, and get in. So there's a few reasons why we want to find the why of our workout, or why of our motivation. What do we do? And this can go beyond working out, right? I think finding the why in a lot of things you do in life will help understand. It'll push you to do those things, or you might figure out that you don't need them in your life at all, because you don't have a why. So there's not really going to be a reason there. If you're pursuing something and you don't have the why, you don't understand the why, and you're not using it, likely that's going to fall apart. Something, you're going to lose motivation. You're not going to put your full effort into it, and things when we don't put our full effort to it, eventually you're just going to wear away and we're not going to use them. So that's why it's going to be very important that you find that. And it's also important that you understand it. A lot of times relying on those outside factors, outside motivations to push you, only lasts so long, right? You can read a cool, inspirational quote on Instagram. You get fired up. I do. Jocko puts out this like awesome, intense Instagram every Monday. I'm like fired up. I'm like, I'm ready to get after it, right? And that's a nice little short burn. But I know, and he even says himself, those are fragile, right? That little outside things that you have are never going to be, replace what you've got in yourself. So understanding the why in your own mindset is going to be even more important, right? And the people who don't go to that, I find, having dealt with a lot of people, in gyms, back to the fire service, that people who don't just give up on themselves, right? If you don't understand the why on it, you're much more likely just going to be able to you're just going to give up on yourself or whatever you were trying to do. So that's not what we want, right? We want to find the why, find the purpose, and then be able to go forward. So I thought maybe, sharing on my own personal would help you guys kind of understand like how to go about doing this, and how to go about finding your own why, which, I think can be extremely useful again in a lot of situations. And again, you can apply this to a lot of things. So one of my whys is, why, not only working out, when I work out, I like to work out hard. But it's also like, I like to wake up and first thing get on work. I do a lot of I do work usually before, the coffee's even ready. I like to get going and like to work hard. But, why would I do that? What's my motivation? Well, there's a lot of motivations. And, some are like, well, you want be successful, you want money, that's great. But I think there's always some deeper stuff than that. For myself, I come from multi generations of farmers and ranchers who've worked Texas land. And the whole family, the idea of the family working that land, no one's ever thought they were going to be, a millionaire doing that. But what it did do is provide for the next generation and next generation. And they always worked really, really hard to do so, knowing that they could pass this on. It's something that they can give to the rest of the family and continue on. And when I think about that, I think, the least I can do is to continue to work hard. Maybe I'm not still working on the ranch, but that drive motivates me. And that's a big reason on my why when it comes on to work ethic. Another why for me, especially when it comes to like health and fitness, remaining myself healthy, continuing to work out after all these years, things like that. I spent a lot of time in, the back of ambulances. I spent, time with people who, were there, yes, because of accidents, but a lot of people who kind of put themselves there just because of their own poor health. Whether that was, illnesses, conditions, weight, whatever it is, to continue to put themselves there. I spent a lot of time trying to fix them. And so a lot of my why, not only on my workouts, but like, why am I a coach? Why do I have a gym, came from just those experiences. Like, I can help people before they get to that stage, and I don't want to get to that stage, right? And so that's a big part of my why, is because I saw so much of this on the other side. Like, okay, well, let's do this before anyone even gets there, right? And so that's part of the why there. And there can be like some very conceited reasons on why, and don't forget those either, right? Everyone wants to look great naked. Everyone wants to feel better about themselves. That's a great why. So don't feel like, oh, I have to have this much more deeper meaning, when I'm trying to go into a workout. Not at all. I like to be good at things. I like to pick up a ball and know that, like, whatever sport I'm going at, I'm going to be pretty good at it, just because I've worked hard to keep myself fit. So I'm out there and I'm like, I don't really want to run these sprints. I'm like, man, I want to be the fastest person when I get to a soccer field, or I want to be able to jump and get that rebound if I'm on a basketball goal. You can have those selfish reasons, and it completely fine. Like, that's absolutely can be motivating when you're digging deep and you're trying to find the why. So for yourselves, when you're doing this exercise, it can take time and let it evolve. It can become a lot of different things to dig deep, right? I went a very shallow thing, right? I want to be good and athletic, all the way to me thinking about the hard work that maybe my past generation family have put in on land in Texas. Okay, that's a long spectrum, but it takes time to get there, right? I'm thinking about these things and digging deep on these things. And so when you're doing this why reasoning, you've got to kind of let it evolve in your own head, because maybe it's not something you've ever even thought about before. Maybe the reason you're doing this, maybe the reason you're working out, you start with that shallow reason. I want to get down to this pant size. I want to look this good for this cruise. That's great. Start there, but kind of keep asking, why do I want that? Why do I want that? See how far that trail leads you down. Ask yourselves a series of whys after. I want to look great for this cruise. Well, why do you want to look great for this cruise? And continue to kind of push yourself and see where that goes. Don't be afraid to do that. Some of these can be very personal reasons, and you definitely don't have to share them, but it can help. And so what I want you to do for this week's action item is it can't be rushed. I don't want you to, if you have ideas right now and you want to write them down, please, by all means, go for it. But I want you to actually set aside a time this week. And that time, I'd say, at least 5 or 10 minutes that, the phone's not going to ring. You're not late for an appointment. You're not expected to be anywhere. You can just sit for a second. Got to be a quiet place, and you can just write. If you want to be on your computer, type it, that's fine. I don't care. And all I want you to do is I want you to come up with at least 3 whys, and you have to be very real on these. Okay. If they are more shallow, why you want to work out, why do you want to be healthy? Why do you want to be fit? Why would you choose to eat healthier? All of those questions, I want you to come out at least with 3 whys. If maybe you're crushing it at workouts right now, you're like, I'm working out because I love doing it. No problem here, motivated. I'm having a hard time with this. then apply these to this. Don't worry about the workout part. Apply it to your work or whatever else. But if it is like you need a little workout bump, or maybe even a little nutrition bump, like, I got to get my mindset right in the evening. The first thing before we start practicing any of this other stuff that's going to come later in classes, if you don't know why you're doing it, none of the other stuff is going to last long. The shine's going to wear off, and again, it's going to fall apart. So you've got to start with this, just kind of exploring on yourself and figure out, like, why am I in the garage with this dumbbell and I could be on the couch watching Netflix, right? What am I out here for? And write those down. And the reason you're going to keep these, you're going to have these with you. They might change. You can definitely do more than 3 as needed. But leave them in a place that's easy for you to find, easy for you to get to. Note section on your phone, notes on your computer, sticky notes that you can just keep in a drawer. And you can reference these when you need them, right? I don't like the idea of just having them all the time. You see them, it's going to wear off a little bit. I like the idea better of, like, I know where they're at. And if I need a little boost, I don't feel like working out today, I really just want to eat junk food instead of going after it today, instead of getting something a little bit cleaner, then I'm going to instead, I'm going to take a peek at this why. And now I can have a better decision to make, right? I know why I would decide to work out, why I would decide to eat better, why I would decide to wake up early and get ready for work and, get the day started earlier, even though I'm working from home. All those things, I want you to, take that minute, decide, why am I doing this? What is my end goal here? And then I hopefully that will help you guys, through that struggle. We're going to use a lot of this stuff later on. So again, the main point of the action today for this week before the next class is you've at least spent that 5 to 10 minute window doing nothing but writing down some of the whys on some of the stuff that you're struggling with, and then we'll go from there. Okay, guys? So right now, does anybody have any questions just specifically on the why and the action itself? Just to make, like, clarity questions. Is there something that you want that I could clear up a little bit before we move into actual Q&As? Very good.
I have a question real quick.
Sure.
JJ, do you typically kind of break your whys up for each part of your life? Like, is that kind of how you would start off with, whether it be like workout or like your job or?
Yeah, you can definitely label it. I would make it a larger sheet of paper that's connected, because I think what you'll find is you can label it for some different things, how you want, self-growth, health and fitness, career, whatever it is. And I think if you dig deep enough, you will definitely find some cross, for sure. There's going to be some that are going to span across multiple ones. So you can link those, right? And those are really important if they come across multiple tracks, right? Those are like, that's an aha moment. Like, all this is coming back together. Okay. Absolutely feel free to categorize it. If your brain, everybody knows how their brain works by now, right? And if you don't, play around with some different things. You're a bullet person, you're a spreadsheet person, you're a scattered page person. Do what your brain tells you to do on this. Don't feel like you have to go to one format, for sure. Any other questions on that part, guys? We're good. Awesome. All right, guys. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to, since that was the main lesson,